Welcome everybody to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is a really nice line of knives. This is the Gihei or Gihei Blue number 2, Awagami number 2, Santoku 165mm knife. So as it's mentioned, this knife has a 3-layer construction. The core steel is Awagami blue paper. Number 2, reactive high carbon steel. Heat treat is typically around 62, 63 Rockwell on there, so it's got a bit of hardness to it. It's got some decent edge retention over, let's say, Shitogami or white paper steel. It's still easy to sharpen, so this will get stinking sharp if you do your part. For a little bit easier maintenance, they put a soft stainless steel cladding on either side of that core steel. Here's your cladding, here's your core steel peeking out from the edge there. So lower maintenance. It looks like that does cover the top of the spine as well, that cladding. Why don't we get our beauty shot right here? In terms of the rest of the dimensions, first we'll talk about the handle. We have octagonal, what's known as magnolia wood or hoe wood handle with a black buffalo horn ferrule. This is a collar that fits over, and so you've got a little bit of a raise between the wood and the wood's a little bit higher than the ferrule, which is pretty normal. It's typical of this. They've got a good tight glue up job here where it goes into the handle. The tang goes into the handle. That brings the balance point forward a little bit because the handle is really light, which actually works out great. And a pinch grip, so there's your balance point on this blade. For me, for a pinch grip, that's just about perfect. So kind of a neutral, nimble feel at that. So nice feel on this balance point. The edge on this, dimensions can vary a little bit in weight as well, but the edge, the edge size on this one is 163mm or 6.4 inches. Overall length about 305mm or 12 inches. And then this one's pretty thick coming out of the handle, but it thins out real fast. So it's actually thicker right there, but then it thins out to there about, I got about 3.75mm. And then halfway down, I got about 2.1. So it thins out pretty quick and then holds that. And the grind, you can see, is fairly low on the knife. So it's right about where that visual transition is. That's where it starts getting ground down towards the tip or towards the edge, but they've got a nice thin tip on this. They've done a really nice job on this grind. That's a thin tip, so it should go really nice through product. And they've also got it ground thin at the edge, so it thickens up quickly, but which will help food separation actually, but it should flow pretty nicely through product. Blade height is 46.6 at the heel. You've got a pretty generous, and this can vary knife to knife, but you got a pretty generous spot there with a gentle curve or kind of a quick curve between the choil and the neck, but a good spot for your finger for a pinch grip. So we already talked about the balance point, but a nice easy, comfortable ergonomics there for a pinch grip. In terms of close-up, we've got kind of a light, it's not real pronounced, but we've got what's known as a nishiji or kind of a pearskin mottled finish to it. Again, it's not real pronounced. We've got embossed kanji and their horse symbol on here on the right side of the blade. So here's where the grind kicks in, here's the blade road, and then here's your shiny core steel peeking out from the cladding. Here's the left side of the blade. Again, you got some embossed kanji right there. Again, that kind of a light nishiji finish. And then they've done a nice job. They've got quite a bit of polish on the spine, and then they've got some rounded on the edges. And then you've got a nice job at the choil here as well. And so a nice polish and rounding of that. So very comfortable out of the box. This one had a pretty nice edge on it. I'll give it 6, maybe 7 out of 10 on my scale. So nicely done there. Let's look at the cutting board profile. These are just nice knives. They're going to be stiff blades, but they thin out nice at the tip and at the edge, so the performance would be pretty good balanced performance. Typical Santoku, where you've got the sheep's foot kind of tip on it, so the tip's going to be pretty low relative to the center line of the blade. So these are not typically meant to be rockers, but you've got a nice smooth rock here into a bit of a flat spot right here. Every knife's going to be a little different on the edge profile, but this one has a bit of a flat in this back part, so it flows nicely into that. Tip wise, I can get in about there before it starts dragging the tip on the cutting board. So we'll, not going to rock high on stuff with this, but that's typical of a Santoku. Tip draws will be real easy. Boom. You don't have to lift the handle too hard or too high. So push-pull cuts, glide cuts, tip draws, a little bit of chopping in the back. This is kind of what the forte is on this blade with that profile. So just nice line of knives that Mark's been carrying for a while, and they do really nice. They're great knives. This is the Gihei Origami or Blue No. 2 Santoku 165mm knife from Chef Knives to Go.